You're watching Newsmakers from your local election headquarters. Jayne and Bugda along with Andy Mehalshick, and we are joined by Denny Wolff. He is the Democratic candidate in the newly formed 9th Congressional District, and we thank you for joining us today. It's an opportunity for our viewers to get to know you a little bit better. And our first question, very easy. Just in a minute, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I am a husband, a father, and a dairy farmer. And I'm farming the same ground that my dad and my granddad farmed. We have 100 registered Holsteins. My wife Josie and I have a herd of Holsteins that are not only good producers of milk, but they're genetically superior. So we've been able to export cattle not only across the United States, but around the world. And from that experience, I was asked by the Clinton administration to serve on the World Trade Organization. And serving on that committee certainly was something that was very important and exciting to me and helped give me a great insight into many things that followed in my career in government. Also, I was Secretary of Agriculture for 7 years. I served as Ed Rendell's Secretary of Agriculture, where we put in place programs like Pennsylvania Preferred that you may have heard of, the Center for Dairy Excellence, and we developed a standard for commercial kennels that is actually the gold standard. It's used by other states, and actually the federal government's looking at it right now. So there are certainly things that we are very proud of. Also, Camp Victory was part of our farm at one time. We deeded that off around 30 years ago, formed a nonprofit corporation, and started Camp Victory. So I've been president of Camp Victory for around 30 years, and that serves around 1,700 children every summer. So we're very pleased with our accomplishments in Greenwood Valley. I went to Millville High School, as did my 5 children.
Mr. Wolff, thank you for that. In this first question also is, in this very extremely polarized political climate, some would say downright volatile and nasty over the last several years, how can you make a difference in that? What difference, can you be a difference maker in that? How could you make a difference in changing that environment?
Well, I think most people will agree when you look at Congress, it's pretty dysfunctional. They don't seem to be able to solve many problems down there. Certainly, they seem to be more concerned about attacking each other than they are concerned about solving problems. And I think what we need is bipartisan champions. I think we need people that are independent thinkers. I really think that we need people that can solve the problems that are facing the 9th Congressional District. And when I was Secretary of Agriculture, I know what bipartisanship is, because I worked for Ed Rendell, a Democrat, and I served agriculture that is a very Republican part of our society. So I worked with the farmers, I listened to their issues, and we developed policy that served their needs. And that's exactly what I plan to do when I go to Congress to represent the people of the 9th.
Well, immigration is a hot-button topic. Where do you stand, and how do we fix a system that is apparently broken?
Well, we need comprehensive immigration reform. And I think, you know, when you start at the top, you're looking at 12 million undocumented residents in this country. So what are we going to do about that? I mean, we can do what we've done for the last 20 years, which is nothing. The other thing that I think is important to note is when you have 12 million undocumented residents in this country, deporting them is both physically impossible as well as financially impossible. So we need to determine and establish a system to bring them under the umbrella and make them part of the country.
Do we need to fix health care? And if so, what would you do about it?
Well, health care has, and in my opinion, health care has 3 pillars. You have a health care system that is quite expensive. You have the part of society that is insured. And in most cases, there are people that need health care insurance because it is quite expensive. You have senior citizens and you have people with chronic illnesses. And then in the middle, you have that magic link that is our insurance companies. So they're trying to balance extremely high-cost health care. They're also insuring a population that needs a lot of health care, and they're trying to write premiums. I think all 3 should be looked at and should be adjusted. From the standpoint of our health care delivery system, I really think that we need an outcome-based program. In other words, a program that not only looks at giving patients the best care, but also how efficient and effective it can be in terms of cost. I think, secondly, we have the insured public that we need to get more people under the tent, more people under the umbrella. So we not only need people with chronic illnesses and senior citizens, but we also need the healthy part of society in there. And then we have the insurance companies in the middle. The insurance companies in the middle need to make sure that their administrative costs are reasonable and are managing their company in a good way. I think if you do all three, you have health care that is much more affordable than it is today.
How do we bring more jobs to our area, more high-paying jobs to our area?
Well, when I walk around the district and visit different industries, it becomes obvious that one of the limiting factors in terms of creating more jobs in the 9th Congressional District is having a skilled workforce. So everything we need to do should focus on that. Whether it's the high schools, the vocational technical schools, the 2-year programs, or the 4-year programs. When students graduate from any of those programs, they should be career ready, because we have a new workforce today that's called skilled labor. And skilled labor can be everything from someone that knows how to run a 3D printer, for example. Someone that knows how to drive a tractor that has a GPS system on it for precision agriculture. They're skills that need to be taught in our vocational schools, in our high schools, or in our 2- and 4-year college programs. So if we get that right, and we have a skilled workforce, there will be more jobs, and industries will expand here, and families will stay here.
We have less than about a minute and a half left. We'd like you to look at the camera and tell the folks why they should support Denny Wolff.
Well, I like to always say that the best indicator of future performance is past performance. And when you look at my history and my career as a farmer, as the Secretary of Agriculture, as the founder of Camp Victory, it speaks for itself. We have had a good track record. When looking at Congress, I think that Congress desperately needs people that know what it's like to work for a living, people that have calluses on their hands, people that know what it is like to raise 5 children on a dairy farm, to pay for your own health insurance, to send them to college. I've experienced all of those things, and I'm willing and interested in being the voice of the 9th Congressional District. I will be their voice, I will represent them at the table, and I will give them what they feel is kind of the unknown land or the forgotten land. That will no longer happen.
Well, Denny Wolff, candidate for the 9th Congressional District, we want to thank you for joining us today and for letting our viewers get a chance to know you a little bit better. You can find more information on Denny Wolff and our other candidates on pahomepage.com or under the Newsmakers link and the local election link, and we'll be right back.